Ever pick up a classic and instantly understand why it never left the conversation? The 357 Magnum is that kind of round. It didn't exist because somebody wanted a cooler number on a box. It showed up because shooters needed more speed, more energy, and more real-world performance. Engineers answered with steel, pressure, and zero interest in being polite. If you're here for straight talk on guns, ammo, and self-defense gear, and follow firearms standard, you're in the right place. Back in the day, people were learning a hard lesson. Some threats didn't respect good enough. The demand was clear: more speed, more punch, more ability to stay effective when conditions weren't perfect. That's where 38 Special was already a player, but it also had limits. So the next step was not magic. It was engineering. By 1935, the 357 Magnum hit the scene like a muscle car rolling off the line. Same basic family tree, but tuned for higher performance. It was essentially 38 Special turned up. More pressure, more velocity, and more energy on target. That's the core story. It wasn't built as a novelty round. It was built as a response to real problems, with real stakes. And that origin matters because it explains the whole personality of the cartridge today. The 357 Magnum was born to do work, not to be polite, not to be quiet, not to be gentle. It's a round that comes with a handle with respect label, even when it's sitting in a box looking innocent. Reasons for popularity. So why does 357 Magnum still get love decades later? Easy. It does a lot of things well, and it does them in a way that feels honest. No gimmicks. Just performance you can measure. First, speed and energy. When you push a bullet faster, you usually get a flatter path and more force delivered where it counts. The result is a cartridge that can hit hard and still stay useful across real distances people actually shoot. You're not trying to arc something in like a mortar. You're trying to put rounds where they need to go, and the 357 Magnum has the horsepower to help. Second, load flexibility. This is where the cartridge gets fun because it's not a one-note instrument. Lighter bullets can lean into speed. Heavier bullets can lean into deeper penetration and stronger terminal effect. You can set it up for what you're doing, instead of forcing one load to pretend it's the answer to every question. If you've ever owned one tool that does the job okay and one that does it right, you get why people keep coming back to 357. Third, accuracy potential. A lot of folks shoot 357 Magnum out of revolvers, and that platform has a reputation for consistent mechanical alignment in the hand. When things lock up the same way every time, you can get repeatable results. And repeatable results are what build confidence. Confidence is what keeps people training. Training is what makes all the other talk matter. Fourth, penetration. This is a selling point that comes with an asterisk the size of Texas. The 357 Magnum can push through things that weaker rounds struggle with. That can be a benefit in some contexts, and it can be a liability in others. But either way, it's part of why people respect the cartridge. It's not a fizzles out kind of round. It carries intent. Fifth, it sits in a sweet spot. Compared to the really big Magnums, you get serious performance without jumping straight into wrist-wrecking territory. People often bring up 44 Magnum as the hold my beer option, but the 357 Magnum gives you a level of power many shooters can manage faster, with better follow-up potential. Now let's talk about the move that makes 357 Magnum almost unfair in the value. Category. Many 357 Magnum revolvers can also shoot 38 Special. That's like owning a pickup that can also be a commuter car. 38 Special gives you a softer ride for practice and skill building. Then, when you want full performance, you step up to 357 Magnum. 2 lanes, 1 firearm, and the choice is yours. And yes, the practical side matters. Cost and availability keep the cartridge in the conversation. A round can be amazing on paper, but if you can't find it, or it costs so much you avoid training, it's not helping you. 357 Magnum has stayed mainstream enough that it remains a real-world option, not just a forum fantasy. Practical uses. All that performance talk is nice, but where does it land in real life? For self-defense, the appeal is straightforward. You're working with a cartridge known for strong on-target effect. People like that can deliver a serious response when things go bad. And they like that they can train with 38 Special to build control and consistency before leaning on the full power option. For hunting, it shows up as a capable choice for medium game like hogs or deer in the right setup. The idea is not complicated. When you need enough power to get meaningful penetration and damage in tissue, 357 Magnum can be in that conversation. It's not a one-size-fits-everything hunting round, but it has earned respect because it can do real work when used within its lane. For range time and skill building, the combo of 38 Special and 357 Magnum is hard to beat. You can spend more time sending rounds downrange without feeling like every trigger press is a mini car crash for your hands. Then you can step up and confirm you still run the gun well when recoil and blast increase. Bottom line, the 357 Magnum adapts. That's the through line. It's the cartridge that can train light, hit hard, and cover a lot of ground without demanding you own 5 different setups to do 5 different jobs. The danger aside, that same do-it-all power is exactly why the 357 Magnum can bite you if you treat it like a casual plinker can bite you if you treat it like a casual plinker. The main issue is not mystery, it's physics. 357 Magnum brings enough penetration that you're a miss. Plan has to be as serious as your hit. Plan. If this kind of practical, no drama breakdown helps you, like in Follow Firearm Standard, overpenetration is the headline risk. Let's say it plain. Overpenetration is the reason people call 357 Magnum more dangerous than you think. The cartridge can push deep. That can be useful in some contexts. But in a home defense layout, or anywhere with thin walls and unknowns behind your target, deep penetration becomes a liability. Here's the part many folks skip when they talk: stopping power. If the bullet keeps going, you still own it. You own where it goes next. You own what it hits next. That's why this breakdown keeps coming back to the idea of a backstop. What is behind the target, what it's made of, and what happens if the round passes through. The more a cartridge tends to keep moving, the more you have to think about your angles and your lanes. In other words, 357 Magnum asks you to do adult math in a stressful moment. That is not a reason to fear it. It is a reason to respect it. Recoil and follow-up shots. The next danger point is control under stress. Yes, 357 Magnum is often described as more manageable than larger Magnums like 44 Magnum. That comparison can be true, but it does not mean 357 is easy. It means it sits in a middle lane where a lot of shooters can learn to run it well if they train. Recoil matters because recoil changes what your hands do. It can change how fast you get back on target. It can change where the next shot lands. It can also change how confident a newer shooter feels after the first loud, sharp trigger press. And confidence is not a vibe. It's a skill outcome. If your grip is loose, if your stance is unstable, or if you don't have reps under your belt, 357 Magnum can turn your groups into a modern art exhibit. The point is simple. Recoil is part of why the round can be dangerous. Not because recoil is evil. Because recoil can make you miss, and misses have consequences. Muzzle flash and noise. Now we move into the stuff people understand only after they've felt it. Muzzle flash and noise are not just range annoyances. They affect performance in real situations. In low light, flash can mess with what you see right after the shot. If you can't see, you can't confirm. If you can't confirm, you're guessing. Guessing is not a plan. Noise is its own problem. 357 Magnum is loud. Inside a room, it's louder. This breakdown flags the hearing risk. And it's not theoretical. A defensive shooting is already chaos. Adding instant hearing damage does not improve decision-making. That's why it leans hard on hearing protection in training, and why it points out that indoor firing makes these issues worse. None of this is meant to scare you. It's meant to keep you from learning the hard way, how to reduce the risk without neutering the cartridge. The article does not end with "so don't use it." It ends with "use it like you understand it." Here's the practical guidance it pushes, in plain terms. Know your backstop. Always. If your plan is, "I'll just hit the bad guy," you do not have a plan. You have a wish. Train your fundamentals, stance, grip, breathing, and sight tracking. The goal is not bravado. The goal is repeatable hits. Ease into the cartridge. Ease into the cartridge. The value of training with 38 Special First matters, especially because many 357 Magnum revolvers can shoot it. That gives you reps without fighting blast and recoil the whole time. Respect the environment. If you're in a space where rounds can pass through walls, or where people may be beyond the target, you need to think harder about whether 357 Magnum is the right choice for that moment in layout. Consider ammunition that reduces certain risks when appropriate. Frangible comes up in the context of limiting penetration. The takeaway is not, "this solves everything." The takeaway is ammo choice matters, and it's part of the safety equation. Notice what is missing here: complicated gear talk or magic accessories. This stays with basics, because basics are what hold up under stress. The core argument, tied together. If you strip the article down to one sentence, it's this: 357 Magnum is more dangerous than you think because its strengths, speed, energy, and penetration don't stop being real when the environment gets messy. The cartridge is popular for good reasons. It has strong performance. It supports different loads for different needs. It can offer solid accuracy potential. In many revolvers, it pairs with .38 Special for training and control work. But the same strengths can raise the stakes. Overpenetration can send rounds into places you never intended. Recoil can reduce control and push shots off target. Flash and noise can reduce what you see and how you function right after the shot. So the article's conclusion is not avoid it. It's don't treat it like a toy. Use the cartridge with a mindset that matches its performance. And if you want more content like this, straight talk, real focus on use, and none of the internet drama, like and follow Firearm Standard.